If you're watching this, you're probably smart, like actually smart. You read books, you think deeply, you analyze situations from multiple angles before you act. And that's exactly why most likely you're stuck. Because your intelligence has become a cage. It's not helping you anymore. It's keeping you trapped in a loop of overthinking, over researching, and over preparing for a life you never actually started living. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how your brain is working against you, and more importantly, how to break out of it. Here's how the intelligence trap works. And I know this because I've lived it for years. Smart people have this curse. They can see all the ways something could go wrong. Before they could even start, their brain already runs 47 different types of scenarios and situations of failure. Every risk is mapped, every weakness is identified, every potential embarrassment is pre-experienced. And the brain presents this as being realistic or thinking it through, as not being reckless. But here's what's actually happening. Your intelligence is generating an infinite list of reasons not to act. And because you're smart, those reasons are actually convincing. They're not dumb excuses. They're sophisticated, well-reasoned arguments for staying exactly where you are. A less intelligent person wouldn't see those risks. So they just go. They start the business, they make the call, they just launch the thing, and they figure out the problems as they come. You, on the other hand, figured out the problems before they existed and used that as a reason to never begin. This is why so many smart people work for less intelligent bosses. Maybe you can relate. And it drives them insane. They look at their boss or the business owner and think, this person isn't even that smart. How are they running things? And I'll tell you how, because that person has a different relationship with uncertainty. They're not smarter. They're just more comfortable with not knowing. They can sit with ambiguity and move anyway, while smart people need to understand everything before they take a single step. Speed beats intelligence. In business, every single time. Not because strategy doesn't matter, but because the person who starts today and adjusts tomorrow will always outpace the person who spent 6 months planning and building the perfect plan. Your intelligence isn't the asset you think it is, your speed is. And right now, you're trading speed for the illusion of certainty. So let me get personal here because, again, I don't want to point fingers from some ivory tower here. I was this person. I was the guy who needed to understand every variable before I needed to make a move. And before I would make a move, I would spend weeks analyzing a business model before testing it. I would read 5 books about a topic before trying it myself. I would build the entire thing on spreadsheets of projections for businesses that didn't exist yet. And you know what all that analysis got me? The same bank account every month. Then the shift happened when I realized something painful. My preparation wasn't making me more ready, it was making me more afraid. Because the more I learned, the more I saw the risks. The more risks I saw, the more reasons I had to wait. I was using intelligence as a coping mechanism for fear. And that's all it was. Sophisticated procrastination. And I had to be honest with myself about that. Now, here's where it gets really interesting because it's not just about business. Now, the same pattern shows up in relationships. Smart people overcomplicate love. They analyze texts. They predict rejection before it actually happens. They create an entire narrative about what the other person is thinking based on zero evidence. And then they act on those narratives instead of actually being present and real. It shows up in health. Smart people research 17 different diets and never commit to one. They know the science behind even training programs and haven't even been to the gym in like 3 months. It shows up in creativity too. Smart people think about the book instead of actually writing it. They plan the YouTube channel instead of posting the first video. They design the perfect website instead of publishing the imperfect one. Pattern is always the same. Intelligence creates complexity. Complexity creates paralysis. Paralysis creates stagnation. And stagnation feels like being thoughtful. So how do you escape? If you've been stuck in this pattern maybe for years, how do you actually break out? If this is landing for you right now, hit subscribe because I go deep on this kind of stuff every single week. The psychology of what actually holds ambitious people back. And okay, let's go for the game plan. First thing is that you need a bias toward action over understanding. Not instead of understanding, before full understanding. Start before you're ready. Not because preparation is useless, but because preparation, you you actually need only becomes visible once you're in motion. You can't study your way to clarity. You have to act your way there. Second, set a decision timer. When you catch yourself researching or analyzing, give yourself 48 hours to decide. Not 48 hours to gather more info, 48 hours to choose. Because your brain will use infinite time to gather infinite data. A constraint forces a choice. Third, ask yourself this question. If a less intelligent person would just do this, why am I not doing it? Let that sit. Because the answer is almost never that you need more information. The answer is almost always that you're scared. And your intelligence is building a very elaborate story about why that fear is actually maybe wisdom. Look, being smart is a gift. I'm not telling you to be dumb. I'm telling you to stop letting your intelligence be the reason you don't live the life you want. The smartest people in the room are not the ones who know the most. They're the ones who know when to stop thinking and start doing. Your brain is a tool, and right now it's running you. So let's take it back. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much.